Once you have the most powerful monster, you're ready to be a true champion.
The stick is twisted!
It's time to duel!
Dad?
Oh shit!
I'm touching myself tonight.
What's going on, guys? Logan JYA here, and today we're doing a profile, something a little bit different, a deck that I've been playing for a few weeks now and I've fallen in love with, that being EXODIA in 2024, the Millennium deck. This deck is easy, cheap, and it absolutely obliterates the competition using some powerful blowouts. So you want to embrace the power of EXODIA with me? Look no further. We're going to dive on into this profile. Without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, my friends, I love EXODIA. Playing this deck now is so chill and it couldn't be easier. So if you're trying to get into the game right now, this really could be an excellent beginner deck, especially if you're a fan of the old school stuff. There's something that just feels crazy about playing the 5 pieces of EXODIA in a deck where you're actually trying to play in a tournament in 2024. It blows my mind. And again, all credit and all the shout outs in the world to JoJo ASMR. Not that he needs them, the man's killing the game, but in case you didn't know, the man's a savage Yu-Gi-Oh player and deck builder. Without further ado, let's dive in. All right, y'all, starting things off, we got the triple copies of the shield, the mandatory 3-up because it searches your Ankh. This is the one that it hurts the most when it doesn't resolve. Not that I should be giving away the information on how to beat this deck, but you really always want to have access to the Ankh, make all of your effects free. And of course, it's what lets you summon the big Chungus. So the shield is essential. Until we get the new set, this is our only way to search out the Ankh. But after the new support comes out, we have the new Blue Eyes, which we can pitch and is a secondary option to get us into the Ankh as well. I think that one's probably going to land at a 2-of in future builds. But hey, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Moving on, we got triple copies of the Senjin, or however you say his name, the other big Chungus. This one searches out any Millennium monster. We have 2 copies of the Golem. Golem searches out your field spell. And then, of course, it wouldn't be an EXODIA deck without the man himself. And we're playing some nice, disrespectful copies, of course. And you don't need any more than just the 3 pieces. No, I'm just kidding. You play them all. Play all the pieces. There's no good way to do this with how I have it framed right now. Okay, look, now you see him, but now he also kind of looks like a crab. All right, point being is you play all the pieces of EXODIA, pick your favorite rarities, have fun with it. Right now I got these Duelist League guys, but there's mismatched colors, go figure. I'm thinking about maybe switching to commons and then just having the ulti head. But hey, your results will vary. Pick your favorite rarity and have fun with it. All right, now we got to get into the unfun part. This is what makes people loathe this deck. The first one being the Shifter. Ugh, I don't even know if I've ever played Shifter in a deck that I've shared. That's not true. I think there's some Sprite Night videos back in the day where absolutely were main decking Shifter. But hey, we're doing it again because we got to crap on the rest of the meta, man. That's what we're out here doing. We want to obliterate with EXODIA. Yeah, we got to use some cheeky means to do it, all right? So yes, main deck triple Shifter. It does nothing to this deck. It feels amazing when you get Shifter because you laugh at your opponent for -1. Some more disrespectful cards, triple copies of the Lava Golem. Again, shout out to JoJo ASMR for this genius, man. Honestly, main decking the Lava Golem and pairing it with a ball, dude, a single ball. We're like Lance Armstrong in the main deck here, all right? But it's all we need. We got 4 hard-going second board breakers, some of the best ones in the game, arguably. And that's it for the monsters. Moving into the spells, triple copies of the Ankh. You got to play all 3. You have to play all 3 Ankh because it doesn't hurt to hard open it. If you do open it in shield, guess what? You search your other copy. That's your follow-up right there, all right? Simple as that. This card resolving, it's almost always guaranteed because there is no hand trap outside of that Psy-Frame one that's capable of stopping it. And again, you don't care about Shifter. You use it yourself. It doesn't conflict with anything inherently in the Millennium archetype. There is another side engine it conflicts with, but I'll mention that when we get there, okay? Moving on in the spells, we got 2 copies of the Weiju Temple. Pair that with 1 copy of Secret Village of the Spellcasters, one of your biggest win conditions in the entire deck. Honestly, you know, this card's not searchable. We are only playing it as a 1-of because we don't want to clog on it, but we do have the Terraforming. I said it's not searchable. Yes, it is. Terraforming Set Rotation, search it. You can't search it in our type like you can like the Weiju. But hey, we've got 3 means of getting to it, and when you have it on your end board paired with EXODIA, it's pretty hard to lose that match. Moving on, triple copies of Super Poly in the main. This one I'm actually 50-50 on. I was thinking about maybe changing this out for another hand trap, but I do like the fact that Super Poly applies additional pressure. It's a going first or a going second card. If you wanted extra space in your extra deck and your main deck, hey, this is a pretty easy slot to cut. Next, triple copies of the Pot of Prosperity for maximized consistency. One copy is Sacked by the Grave, because why not? Droll does kind of hurt, and like I mentioned earlier, Ash on Shield isn't great. And then final spell is the Obliterate Blaze. If you don't know what this card does, make sure you read it. It is what gives your Exodia the effect to equip all of the pieces, and then he gains 2,000 for each. It also gives him Piercing. It is a heavy storm when you're using this effect attached to your Exodia. So again, it gives Exodia the effect. It's not this card doing the effect. So just remember that, okay? Just don't forget about the fact that you're locked out from using other effects if you resolve the one to equip. Finally, we got the trap cards. The coolest one in the deck is the Exod Fires of the Rage. This is your board wipe. You just play one of it. You just need to resolve it once. Again, your end board is usually ending on 2 to 3 hard pieces of interruption. It's kind of like Prank Kids. Remember when they were blowing out the back rows and the front rows? We're blowing out both at the same time with this guy, all right? So we play one of this, but we also still play one copy of the Obliterate. I was thinking about cutting this one, but then I realized there's a lot of situations where you don't mind giving up the Millennium plays after you've already established your Exodia. Once you do that, more oftentimes than not, you're in a pretty safe space, so you can just use the Obliterate to control the game. If you need to go on past turn 3, Obliterate is a godsend. Next, for that other engine I mentioned, again, JoJo's got such a big brain on him. This was such a good idea to play the Rabbit along with the Azuroon, because even though you have to shuffle back the Rabbit, it doesn't matter much because you still get to keep this trap card in your back row, and that gives you, as the Millennium Exodia player, an additional form of interruption, kind of working around the Ankh restrictions. So I really do like this package in this card. And then finally, the one copy of Tikaboo, the other Saki win con of the deck that you try and grab off of Pot of Prosperity. Same thing as Secret Village of the Spellcasters. You see this against Fiend Smith, against Bell. More oftentimes than not, you're going to be able to cook them, okay? Everything for the main, let's go through the extra. I've only got one of the nice looking Exodia. Shout out my boy Eddie. The other two are just the regular Ultras, but shout out to everybody else who helped me put together this deck for the super cheap. I appreciate you all immensely. Yeah, play all three. Play all three. You can use one as a banished target, and if you play against Cached Hero and they start ripping them out, you might get sad, so just play all three of them. Then we've got the Super Poly targets, the Predaplant, the Mud Dragon, and the Garura. That's pretty standard. The Rabbit, we mentioned him earlier. It's kind of broken, this card. I really think it is. It might be banned someday. The fact that it just gets you a free Black Horn of Heaven out of deck, that's kind of crazy to me. And on the decks that can actually keep this on their end field, you also get a pop. That's wild. That's wild to me. I feel like this card's going to need to go someday. And then we've just got a bunch of generic links that we're able to go into, like this you can make with pieces. This one should be the Earth Charmer, so you have a spellcaster you can make with just your Millennium monsters. This one, of course, you're more likely to be able to grab things out of the opponent's graveyard, but you need to make it with an Exodia piece or with the big guy, and that's honestly not great. So yeah, more oftentimes than not, you're not gonna want to play this one. You'd rather play the Earth Charmer. I just don't have one. One copy of the Saline, Climb On Through, Little Knight, yeah, you should still play it. Don't bother wasting a slot on IP because you're never gonna end on it. The one copy of the Phoenix, Moon, and the Underworld Goddess. And finally, the access code Smack Talker. Yeah, we're playing the Super to be extra disrespectful. All right, that's everything for the extra. We'll round things out with the side deck. Again, we got some other new changes in here, slightly different from JoJo's build. I have the other two balls. We got the full set in the side deck, okay? And then this card I think is essential for this deck. Triple copies of the Dogwood. This isn't just for time. This is not just for time. This card is uniquely diabolical in Exodia because it makes your big Chungus even bigger. You gain attack for your life points. What gives you free life points? This guy. And your opponent's not gonna be thinking about it. They end their board, they leave a single monster in attack position. When you have over 10,000, who knows, sometimes even 20,000 life points, you summon this guy, you punch into that one thing, and you won the game. It's that simple. So honestly, this card serves double duty, and of course, it makes all your Millenniums free if you didn't open the Ankh. So I like playing the Dogwood, not just for time. Triple copies of the Ash, a good generic hand trap. And then we got the Brigade here, the Harpies, Feather Duster, your Lightning, Storms Bing Chilling, and then I got one Shiki guy added into the gang. One copy of Raigeki. Dude, I really want to play more of this in this deck in particular. I mean, I saw those shenanigans going on with the Tenpai players and the other going second players at the WCQ. It looked like a ton of fun. I want to play more Raigekis, but right now I've just got the one copy in there. And then last card in the side is 3 copies of the Dimensional Barrier, the Disrespectful Barrier. Just don't forget the fact that if you call Fusion, yeah, you just don't forget that, okay? Don't forget that and you should be okay, but this is also primarily for Tenpai, so I think you know what we got going on here. But everybody, I hope you enjoyed this Exodia deck profile. Again, all the credit in the world to JoJo ASMR. I wanted to share this list with you though because I have been having a ton of fun playing it. Again, the few small changes that I've made, I pointed them out as we went through it. But if you have any questions or concerns about playing the deck, I've been playing it for a while now, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. If you want to see gameplay, join the live stream. You can see that on the channel as well. And now let's bring things to a close. Logan JYA signing off. Have a great day, and we'll see you beautiful people later. Peace.